Hello and welcome to a new episode of Airport CEO here on the channel. As always, before we get any further into today's episode, if you should end up enjoying this video, then why not leave a like? That would be very much appreciated. And of course, if you are new around here, why not hit subscribe? That would be absolutely awesome. Alright guys, last time we started the construction of the very last project we have in this season, and that is to add 6 more remote stands to our airport, which will be Schengen, so non-international stands. Last time we already worked on the baggage reclaim area, which I think has turned out rather nicely, but of course there are still plenty of other things we need to take care of. The very first thing, of course, here we need to do is we need to build a departure hall for these 6 stands. This will be underground, because we don't have space anywhere else. We have 6 gates. That means we need to have 6 bus stops and we need to have 6 service car stops. Now, before we get any further with our latest construction project, there's actually one thing we desperately need to take care of. Now, we already in the last episode opened 6 remote stands, which are international remote stands, are handled over from the e-concourse, and of course today we want to add 6 further remote stands. Now, there's one thing we desperately need to take care of before we continue with our current construction project. In the last episode of this series, we actually constructed already 6 remote stands. Now, they are international stands and handled over from the East Wing, and today, of course, we want to add 6 further remote stands. And we have the departure halls with the gate areas, we have the baggage reclaim areas, we have the baggage bays, and that's all well and good, but of course, passengers also need to be able to, well, check in their luggage. Now, we already have a lot of check-in counters, both manned and unmanned, but all of them are already assigned to baggage bays, which means that our current remote stands and the ones we want to build today, well, passengers that will be leaving from those, there are no check-in counters where they could leave their luggage. So of course we have to build some. Now we of course have the option between the manned and the unmanned, but given that we basically have no space left here in this check-in area, we will go with the manned ones. This has the advantage that they are capable of handling more passengers than the manned ones, and they don't take up nearly as much space. So we can squeeze in 6 of those at each end of this area here of the terminal, and with that we can hopefully fulfill the needs of our passengers that actually have luggage to be checked in. Alright, so the next step in our building project here is that now that we have completed all the luggage systems for the outgoing luggage, we of course also need to make sure that the inbound luggage is being distributed to the baggage reclaim area that we've constructed. And for that, of course, we need to connect up our baggage bay with the rest of the system. And now we have, of course, a bit of some obstacles in our way. So we do need to deviate a little bit and leave our luggage, or lead our luggage rather, one level further down. So we can build a tunnel for that. So we can then basically bypass here the tunnel we have where passengers are walking, and then connect it up with our luggage system. And of course it also helps to build the tunnel to the right location so that we actually connect up this baggage bay at the right point here with the rest of the luggage system. And once I figured that out, we can move on to the next point. Alright, so now that we have connected up our baggage bay fully to the luggage system, let's focus on the departure hall itself. Now, obviously, this will be an area where we have a lot of staff working. We have the baggage bay and we have the 6 gates. And you know me, when we have an area with a lot of staff working, I want to have at least one staff room close by, so that the staff, when they are going on shift or off shift, don't have a very long pathway to the nearest staff room. Staff doesn't really go home here in the game, they are basically just staying in a staff room. So if it's close by, my hopes is that they will always be close to their next assigned job, and therefore making the airport run smoothly. Now, going to the departure hall. Now, this will be a fairly simple system. I mean, we have 6 stands, which means we have 6 gates, 6 bus stops, and 6 service car stops. And of course, then we have some benches, so the passengers can wait for their aircraft or for their boarding to start. And we have a bit more space here than we have in many of the other areas of Terminal 2, because we are building underground, and basically here we have as much space as we want. So we won't build it quite as cramped as the rest of the terminal. Also, this is very much fictionary, that's not a word, it is fictional. That's a word. It is very much fictional because, as far as I know, such an area does not exist at Geneva Airport, but we simply have run out of space, so yeah, this is what we do. We are just improvising here, and because of that, we of course can allow ourselves to give us a little bit more space than we have in the other areas. So we will also have space for 2 shops and of course some bathrooms, so we should have the basic needs of the passengers leaving from this area fulfilled, and that's of course always good news. Okay, so we are making great progress. Now we have done everything we need to do inside the terminals. But of course, when we want to have remote stands, we also need to build these remote stands. We still have plenty of space over here. We simply will be adding them right next to the other 6 remote stands we have over here. But of course, that would be far too simple if we just had that. Now notice right now we have basically just one taxiway accessing this area. And I can already see now aircraft ending up in congestion because they have to wait for aircraft to pass up and down this taxiway, and that's stupid. So of course we just add another taxiway and make them one way, so that one taxiway will lead aircraft up to this area and the other one will lead them down here to where they then can taxi over to the runway. Hopefully this will alleviate any congestion around this area of the airport. God knows we have plenty of congestion and many other places around this airport. Alright, so when I build these things, there are a lot of things that need to be connected up, and unfortunately you have to do that manually, and it is a rather tedious job, which is why I pretty much always are cutting it out of these episodes, because there's no need for you to just be sitting there watching me connect up stuff. But there's actually one thing I quickly wanted to mention. Now, quite a few episodes ago, I was talking about when we started basically building the infrastructure for our very first remote stands. I was talking about that it was annoying that passengers had to leave and arrive from the same bus stop. And there was actually a comment saying that that was not the case. Unfortunately, this person who wrote the comment never specified how it wasn't necessary. So I was trying to figure it out, and I was looking at it, and I just couldn't. I could not figure out how you could have passengers leaving from one remote stand, or basically from the gate, going to a remote stand, and then the passengers arriving there going to a different bus stop, so somewhere else around the airport. Until now, at the very end of the season. How could it otherwise be? Basically, when you press on a remote stand, there is actually an option so you can connect up a remote stand to a different bus stop. Now, this would have been brilliant to know earlier in the season, because I guess there would at least be some things I would have built a slightly different, because of course in Geneva Airport, as with many other airports, passengers do not arrive and depart from the same areas around these remote stands. But there are like central bus stops where all the inbound passengers, all the arriving passengers are dropped off. And that's the same thing at Geneva Airport, and I would have loved to build that, but as I didn't know that this was a thing in the game, because it has not been in the past, I don't know when they added this feature. It is a great feature, by the way, but yeah, I didn't know about it, and now I know about it, now you know about it. So maybe in a future build we can add this element to an airport build as well. But with this, we are really at the end of the season. Now there will be one more episode, and this is, as it is pretty much traditional for these series here, it will be a walk around, because we have been building for many weeks and months now, and of course the airport has developed over this time. Now we did already one walk around earlier in the season, and now we will do a final one where we take another good look at the airport and really will delve into seeing where things work, where they don't, where have we stayed basically true to what Geneva Airport looks like in real life, where we have made some compromises, and where we have added a little bit, you know, fictional stuff. But yeah, this is, as I say, the last regular episode, the last episode where we are constructing anything. I might do a little bit more work on this off camera to fix a few minor small things here and there, but this is basically it. Now, I very much hope that you have enjoyed this episode, and of course also the series. I hope, of course, also you will join me for the next last walk around of the airport. But in any case, thank you so much for your support throughout the series, and all the feedback you've given me throughout the series as well. This has been greatly appreciated. Of course, if you have enjoyed this video and the series and would like to show your support, then smash that like button. That is greatly appreciated. And of course, if you are new around here, why not hit subscribe, because I might just make another season of Airport CEO. I already have an idea, but of course, if you have ideas to what we could build next, then please feel free to let me know in the comment section below. With that, I'd like to say thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.